You might have heard some people fuss about Minneapolis. They must not know how we fuss over our crafted beers and our award-winning chefs, how we fuss over our epic sports, iconic music, and historic theaters. So come to Minneapolis and see what the real fuss is all about.
Ladies, we are ready to meet you where you are. Welcome to the Dare to Ask podcast, Season 3, Episode 4, Ditch the D Word.
Eat healthy on a budget. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just bring it back to the basics.
I'm Corey Jensen, your host for this Dare to Ask podcast. I'm a mom to a big family and have delivered 5 babies. And like many women, I try to stay informed about my wellness as well as the health of my kids. We've created a space to have open conversation about what's going on with the woman's body without feeling intimidated in a clinical setting. A place to talk like girlfriends do. A space that dares to ask.
We're here to make a connection, be authentic, and really get to know your provider. Yes, know the person behind the stethoscope. Dare to Ask will be where you hear the questions that we are all curious to know, but just need a space to do it. You've landed on the Dare to Ask podcast, show hosted by Corey Jensen and sponsored by Essentia Health.
My hard and fast boundary is I don't like to use the word diet. Sinful swear word for me.
Right.
Diet means temporary. I'm going to start this and I'm going to end this. Life isn't like that.
Nutrition, wellness, diets, lifestyles, journey. I'm going through some of the buzzwords. When we start to talk about your nutrition wellness, those always come about. And diet culture is not going anywhere. I'm starting to think till the end of days, we will still be concerned about what is the latest diet trend. But should it be? It's a good question. And I'm going to bring that up when I get to talk to dietitian Amy Hieb. She is a clinical dietitian at the Essentia Health Cancer Center in this Ditch the D Word podcast. And I'm sure you can probably guess the D word. So Amy, she is fun. You're going to hear about some of her interests and her family. And she is inspiring with direction in your nutritional wellness too. She's going to break down for us her explanation as to why you need a plan for your plan and a goal for your goal. The word she hates and wishes we could literally erase from the vernacular. And there's also one word that she has for us to live by. She talks about what she'd like to see in the future and its connection to nature that can really amplify our overall wellness. It's a fun talk and I can't wait to get to it. Just be girls.
That's who I am. I love it.
If you're meeting your girlfriend, where would we go? What would we be drinking or eating?
I would pick a restaurant I've never been to before, or maybe a bar and grill.
Okay.
And we would be venturing into the appetizer list.
Yes.
And trying something new that we never had before. When it comes to food, yes.
Which is great. What about your drink of choice?
Ooh, well, if you're talking alcohol, I like Moscow Mules.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes, but I don't do the latte, the big all syrupy stuff. I'm just like an Americano with a little sugar-free syrup and a little half and half, and I'm good. Yes.
We basically have the same drink. I'm Americano, and I do a shot of heavy whipping cream.
Oh, yes.
Just the creamy goodness that I love.
I know.
It helps cut that acidity. You got the pow.
I did kind of find that Irish cream nitro, I think it's called.
I've not tried that.
Yeah.
It's
heavy on the cream.
Okay.
Heavy on the coffee flavor. It's good.
Outside of your role at Essentia, family, where do you live?
I'm a mother.
Yes.
And I live in Dilworth, Minnesota. And I have 3 children, Haley, who's 16, and Marshall and Ty, who are twins, and they are 13.
Everybody's a teenager now.
Yes.
How is being a teen mom?
Pause because I don't know what to say.
I know, right? What is the biggest challenge for you?
Just trying to keep balance in life. The balance between kids' activities, just having downtime at home, being okay with being still.
Yes.
Balance, I think, is the main thing, is the biggest challenge. I don't think it's ever achievable, but we strive for that.
Yeah. Daily practice.
Oh, yes. And do I succeed daily? No.
You're keeping it real. I really appreciate that. Screens always seem to be a really big challenge, especially for new teenagers, too. Is that something that you see in your house?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. I think our house is maybe a little different than some households. We don't limits on it or, have like active criteria Like my son, we were doing this thing at church one night, and it was a parent-child interaction where you had questions to ask each other.
Yeah.
They get 15 minutes to talk, and we get 15 minutes as a parent to talk. It's the one rule that you don't like at your house. He looks at me, he's like, do we really have rules, Mom? I don't really think we do have a lot of rules, but we have a lot of conversations.
Yes.
And so there's a constant ongoing conversations about, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, how is the best way to use your time. There's not hard and fast like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, get off that phone.
Yeah.
There's more conversations about how could you be using your time more wisely, help them process and think that through than just having these hard and fast deal breakers.
I like that.
I don't know if it's working well, but that's how we do it.
In concept, it sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Sounding to me like as you are actively raising adults instead of raising children. Mm-hmm. There's so many different seasons of a child's life and development. Mm-hmm. And when is it time where you get more responsibility?
Yeah.
We have deeper conversations. There's expectations of you. Mm-hmm. A little different when they're 6 and 7.
Right.
As opposed to 13 and now 16. Spouse?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a husband, Todd.
Okay. Hi, Todd. Shout out to Todd.
He's my man, my right-hand guy.
Oh, love it.
The time frames are not my thing. This is more his thing.
Like you look at him, he remembers the dates.
Yeah, or he'll say to me, no, you don't have that quite right.
Oh,
and I'm like,
I love it.
I do. And he's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, okay.
So you've been married for a while.
Started dating in 97, let me just put it that way.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Dated
definitely.
for 6 years and then married.
Do you have family nearby, extended family?
I grew up in a little town called Nevis, Minnesota, and my husband grew up in Dilworth. I have a small family. I have 2 brothers. Mm-hmm. My mom and dad still live in Nevis. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because usually we make these choices like, no, I want to be around my family. Or I'm good. I'll see you next Christmas.
It wasn't necessarily a conscious decision. It just kind of happened naturally for us. Now that I'm older, then I would say that I'm glad I made that choice.
Yeah.
When you look back on life, you see things totally different than when you're in the moment. Oh. I'm glad I made that choice to stay close to my family because my kids get to be with their grandparents, and that relationship is something that not everybody gets to have. So you can help support them. They support you. You have ongoing relationships. You can continue to create memories. It's hard to do that with distance.
Yeah. Feels very family oriented. First thing you said is, I'm a mom. Like that is one of your defining qualities. What else would you say? The Reader's Digest version. I know that was a super old statement.
I know what that was.
What's the 60-second TikTok of Amy's life would you say describes you best?
Oh, I'm a person that likes to think deeply. Mm-hmm. I don't take my friendships lightly or my relationships lightly. Mm-hmm. If I talk too much about this, I might cry. But yeah, I mean, I just
I'm a good emotional girl too.
Yeah, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. If you want to know what I'm feeling, you just have to look at me. I think I really appreciate that quality about myself just because you can really feel life instead of just going through the moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I'm pressing follow, subscribe to Amy.
Hold on now.
Hold on. I wasn't prepared for long-term relationship yet.
That's a journey. That's a process. Yeah.
Animals. Do you have any pets?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I have 2 puppies.
Oh, I could tell right away. Your face lit up for babies. Tell me about your puppies.
I have a Riley and Bella. Call them my Eeyore and my Tigger. Bella is very much high-strung, in your face, give me attention. And Riley's like, you want me to jump off this bed? Like, I don't know.
That's cute.
But they complement each other very well, and they're a huge part of our life. They get a lot of attention and love,
Activities as family, or do you have your own things?
Well, my kids draw me into a lot of activities. Marshall and Ty like to play sports, so we do baseball, basketball, football. With baseball probably being our biggest passion so far. Haley is a teenage girl that loves to shop, and she works and has her own enjoyments, so she keeps us pulled in other directions. But for myself, I really like to connect with nature, so I'm big into gardening, whether it's flowers or vegetables. And then I just like to go hiking and just be outdoors and enjoy my surroundings.
Amy, I think I'm falling in love. I think we're soul sisters. Much of what you described is very much on my same plane. Love to be grounded in nature. In fact, that's usually the therapy that I go to first. So, like, it's my number one coping mechanism. It's the healthiest to go out in nature.
Get my hands dirty.
Yes. My flowers, I just absolutely love. That's a little bit of life for me. And I love to hike too, because there's always something new to see, something new to feel, something new to smell. Like really peel all the phones away, peel all the social media, and just be where.
That's where the feeling things deeply comes in again.
Ooh, it is. It is.
Yes.
Okay, let's feel things deeply in the professional sense now, because I'm so curious as to know your role at Essentia. You are a dietitian.
Correct.
nutritionist.
Dietitian.
Thank you. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Well, a
between?
nutritionist is someone who can call themselves a nutritionist just because they know stuff about nutrition.
Okay.
A dietitian needs to go through schooling and pass a national registration exam to prove their knowledge.
If dietitian is up here, then nutritionist, and then health coach.
Yeah, lifestyle coach, things like that.
Yes,
yeah.
but like I've noticed this trend. A personal trainer that I work with, she calls it entertainment fitness. Which you know what
Never
I'm talking
heard that
about.
one before,
Okay,
but
so
good.
like maybe you're joining one of the clubs or whatever that, this is the hot new thing. Maybe it's a CrossFit or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to have is like a little bit of training to be considered a health coach where you just know how to teach a class simply.
Yeah.
But as far as like, okay, injury prevention, or you might not have that knowledge. So I was just doing hierarchy here.
Yeah,
So dietitian.
Sure.
And specifically, like who are your patients?
Oh, I work with cancer patients that have been diagnosed with any type of cancer, that are either just finding out about their diagnosis, are going through an active treatment plan, or maybe have gone through both of those pieces of their journey and now are trying to figure out how to live life past their cancer.
Yeah. How long have you been doing that?
I have been with Essentia for 17 years.
Wow.
I'm not good with timelines, so I'm pretty sure it's 17-ish.
That's okay. We're going to guesstimate. That is a good chunk of time.
Yeah, and when I first started, half my days were inpatient and half my days were at the cancer center. But with growth and more providers and more patients needing care, I've transitioned to full-time as a cancer center dietitian in the last 8 years, I'll say.
All right. And so what does that day look like?
Yeah, I work the normal like 8 to 4:30 type of hours. Sometimes maybe a little earlier, a little bit longer, depending on how patients' consults or appointments fall. Have a very kind of flexible type of schedule. I try to see patients when they come in for another appointment, just so we're not asking them to come in multiple times to see multiple services. Just try to be convenient and sensitive to the patient's time and their life outside of the cancer center.
Yeah.
So I just, the provider will go in and see the patient, and then I will follow up after that and check in and see how things are going. Introduce myself on consults, and then, once they get into an active treatment plan, I will touch base a couple times, whether it's with chemo or radiation treatment or an oral pill that they might be taking, just to see if there's any side effects that might be challenging their appetite or ability to eat. And then the conversations just kind of go from there, and we just address their needs as they present, and then follow up as much as a patient needs for support and guidance to get them through their whole treatment the best we can.
Naivety here. I'm going to play that role because I wouldn't have even really thought that your role would be so active. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like once delivered that news of the big C word, that you'd just be on your own as far as diet and your wellness in that regard. Like, this is an important element. Mm-hmm. Why is it so?
If you only provide half the nutrition or energy that your body needs, it's only going to function half par. And when you're going through something as intense as chemotherapy or radiation treatment or a surgery, you really need to have given full support to your body to be able for it to function 100%, to be able to take care of all this extra stress it's receiving. So, the American diet, we have turned food into such a social and pleasurable thing, and we forget that it's really our source of energy for our body to be able to function well. So if we don't provide enough fuel, enough energy, our body really can't function well. And then it may not be able to handle the treatments as well. So
you speak more almost as the deficit is the issue. And I assume that really comes along with side effects with cancer and the treatments, because
feeling nauseated, if you have mouth sores, if you have a dry mouth.
Last thing you want to do.
If you have trouble swallowing, it's really hard to get that energy in.
Yeah, it really is.
So then I'm there to help navigate that for them and help them figure out different ways to get all the nutritional components they need in based on the challenges they're facing.
Yeah. Is this something that you see yourself doing for the rest of your career?
Oh, I don't have any plans going anywhere.
Nope, this is it.
I never really sought this out in my early years of education and in my college years going through nutrition. I never really thought about cancer. You think about clinical, you think about community, you think of bigger scope, but your life takes you to places you don't really foresee sometimes, and that my life really kind of just took me to a place I didn't really know that I would have so much joy and fulfillment from.
Okay, now I want to take the microscope and pull it back to look at that big picture. Take me to teenage Amy. And where was teenage Amy? Was she thinking medicine? Was she thinking healthcare field? Were you already thinking dietitian?
Oh, no. Amy had no idea what she wanted to do. She had really no path or anything she wanted to be on. Okay. So just went to school because I felt like I didn't really know what else I was going to do with my life if I didn't keep myself engaged and try to keep exposing myself to things. Yeah. So I just went to small school, close to home. Bemidji State was my first college of choice.
Yeah.
Actually, I like telling my interns this story, and I'll share this a little bit with you.
I love a good story, and you're giving me those foundational layers to get to know you better.
So when I went to school, I really didn't have any idea. When I say school, I mean college. What I wanted to do. So I picked a small school, Bemidji State, and I told myself I am not taking any major that has any math or science in it because I was super intimidated by them. And if you know anything about dietetics, it is like 85% math and science from 101 into like 300 level classes, right? So I basically set up these boundaries, which I'm kind of big on right now in my life as boundaries, that kind of limited me from what really brought me joy. So I took like elementary ed and little business because I can do small math like accounting, and I started failing a lot of my classes to the point where I was on like probation, academic probation. But
mic drop.
Right. The reason why I share that is because life is full of struggles, right? Like, and you may have challenges you face, and you can't let that stop you from going to meeting your dreams, right? So I took this class, Nutrition 101, at Bemidji as an elective. And it's the only class I enjoyed studying for and got an A in. So I thought there might be something here. Like, I really should, see where this type of education would take me.
Yeah.
I had a friend that I was working with was working in a library. And with her, and she said, I'm going to transfer and go for dietetics. I said, well, what's that? And she told me, and I said, I think I'll do that too. On probation, go to UND, struggled a little bit, finally found my niche and my groove, started to move forward, was succeeding, and that's how I kind of fell into dietetics and my love for that. And then just exploring that degree more just kind of brought me into the world I'm in now at the Cancer Center. So
you've got a story of perseverance is what you do. Because
but I really didn't realize I had it at the time.
Of course not. That's usually how it comes about.
Yeah.
It's not like we have these grandiose Hollywood aha moments and the next day you wake up and you're successful and you're getting straight A's and you're making all the right life choices. Usually real life
kind of unfolds in front of you and you don't realize it's happened.
Until you can finally look back and go, okay, I made some right choices here.
Loving what I do immensely. It's so gratifying to watch patients come in the door, watch them go through that whole journey. Sometimes they hit a rock bottom, feeling the worst of worst. And then 6 months, a year later, you see them come back for follow-ups and they are living life and enjoying life. And it's just super gratifying. I just I don't even know exactly how to explain it, but know that you're a part of taking them through that process.
As the deep thinker that you are, you need deep soul food. Getting to see that journey and being along with somebody, you're more than just simply another appointment that you have to go to and check off your list, but you become somebody that gets to be part of your story. Let's talk a little bit about, in the dietary world, some things that you think or practice helpful for women's health.
I don't know if I necessarily do them every day, but I try to keep a focus on staying in the moment, keeping my anxiety and my stress down. Not an easy task, and it's not something I do well every day, but it's something that I know is important. Yeah. So I like to close my eyes. Some people may call it meditation. Yep. I just take a moment. And I may take 10 moments in a day. It just depends on my day and how it's unfolding. But I don't necessarily get up every morning and do meditation. I don't necessarily go to bed, before I go to bed, do meditation. Yeah. But I try to practice things to help keep me calm and centered throughout the day, whether it be like deep breathing. I might get this a little bit wrong, but where you breathe in for 3 or 4, you hold for 7, exhale for 8. That really helps me release stress and anxiousness that I might be feeling throughout the day, or if I'm feeling overwhelmed, it really helps me just kind of get my bearings, if you will. Yeah. That's probably the number one thing that I do on a regular basis to help keep me spiraling out of control.
Mindfulness. Yes.
I look calm and everything on the outside, but my insides are really a hot mess.
Straight honesty. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I'm kind of transparent that way. But
so you speaking about mindfulness here and being in that moment, do you use an app for that? Because right now there are so many meditation apps or calming apps, mindful apps.
I've tried. I find them intriguing and they probably are helpful for some people, but for me, it's just trying to remember to go to that app causes me anxiety. So
Oh, oh, now I have to remember a password, and now there's this. I've got to go through 3 different steps just to get myself calm.
Where did I put that app?
And my head is where is
So
this?
that doesn't really work for me. I have searched them out. I have engaged them lightly, looked at them. But when it comes down to actively using them to help get me through those moments, I do not. It causes me more anxiety to look for it. So I just close my eyes and breathe and know that I'm okay and I will be able to get through it all.
Same. I've downloaded so many different apps like that to try to do what I know how to do on my own. Like, can we talk diets a little bit into the realm of nutrition and diets? That's, of course, one of those. Women are still just as fascinated as ever. It doesn't matter. Hundreds of years, we will still be concerned about what's the diet I should be on, what's best for me.
My hard and fast boundary is I don't like to use the word diet.
Yes.
That's kind of like a sinful swear word for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because diet means temporary. It means I'm going to start this and I'm going to end this. Life isn't like that. You just don't start something and then end it and think that it's going to be beneficial to you in the long run. So diets is kind of the wrong kind of mindset to have about your relationship in life, whether that's exercise, food, lifestyle habits, like not smoking, watching your drinking of alcohol, things like that.
Yeah.
It's just more about how are you going to manage all that? Some people choose not to participate in some of it, which is fine. Some people choose to participate in a little bit, but to what degree? Exercise, what does that look like for you? Some people, it's just going out for a walk with their dog. Other people like to do that mile run. People like to do weight-bearing exercises, group classes, individual. What grabs your interest to get you to move more? You know,
The simplicity of just movement.
Right. And the same thing with eating. It doesn't have to be a complicated, I have to go out and buy all these supplements, or I have to go out and buy all these organic foods, or I have to go out and buy all these high expensive things. Can eat healthy on a budget. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be just bring it back to the basics.
Amy, I need some help. I feel like I'm spiraling out of control. Tips that you would give me how to get started today.
Well, usually these are conversations I would have with patients after they're done with their treatment. You're a survivor from the day that you're diagnosed. But we have at Essentia a survivorship clinic that we offer to patients that after they're done with treatment and they're kind of monitoring and surveillance. Really, we talk a lot about being mindful. I think a lot of people understand calories. They understand I need 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I need to get more fiber in my diet, you know, that 20 to 35
most all of us
grams.
have at least a very base knowledge.
Of some of those dietary guidelines that USDA has for us. But I try to engage patients in thinking about being more mindful about what they're doing in their life. So sometimes we tend to just kind of float through life and just get through our days because that's all we can do some days, right? But just trying to become a little bit more aware about, well, am I really hungry? Maybe I'm really full right now and I just need to stop eating.
For some, it's very hard to even identify.
Or if I don't feel those feelings, how do I get my body back to feeling hunger and fullness if I'm not feeling it? Because sometimes you become such a grazer that you don't really even know hunger or fullness anymore.
The boredom eating or the stress eating, you never stop. So
maybe it's
hunger?
nervous energy. Like I give an example to patients. I talked a little bit about being kind of an anxious person inside. And if I'm feeling high anxiety, doing the things I know, I can find myself in a bag of chips or I can find myself in a bag of candy and I just keep shoving it in and I don't even realize it until it's kind of too late. So if I can identify that and find a way to manage my anxiety, it probably will help me not such a binge eater later on, when I'm having those tough moments with my anxiety. So trying to be able to identify, different things that might trigger you to be making unhealthy choices to help address that. But sometimes you need a plan. Your plan.
You need a plan for your
Or you need baby step goals to get to your goals. 2 ladders side by side, and one has many little rungs on it, big goals in between, right? And then the other one just has these big rungs, and you have to try to get your foot up on that big rung without those little ones in between. And it's really, really hard to get from one goal to the next if you don't have those little goals in between to get you there. I provide a class called Core 4 Survivorship Clinic that addresses a lot of these things. And I do talk about the calories and the balanced meals and logistics type stuff. But I find with people that I work with that you really have to help them how to process that. How are they going to meet their goals? How they're going to identify them, how they're going to meet them, and then how are they going to carry them on. I mean, I had a patient last year that went through the program. I was losing weight. Then the summer came. She went to the lake. And she kind of lost her focus. And who wouldn't when you're at the lake having fun, right?
Right.
She gained weight, super frustrated, came to me. And over the summer, she gained weight. And then she came back to me and she said, Amy, I just don't like what shifted and what changed. And so that's what we identified is that she went to the lake. I said, okay, well, next summer, we need to have a plan.
Sure. Yes.
You know, and life is about that. You may take 10 steps forward and 2 steps back, but then you just have to try to take 10 more steps forward and keep inching your way forward. And not to get super hard on yourself because that's just the nature of life, right?
That there's more psychology behind your lifestyle than it is just simply a diet or temporary short amount of time. And then what? Mm-hmm. Now I have to do that thing that I hated doing before.
All over again.
Mm-hmm. Plan for your plan. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah. A goal for your goal.
A goal for your goal.
You might have 10 goals for your goal. You just never know. As long as you keep moving forward, that's all that matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would really love to see people going back and just connecting to nature more.
Yeah.
Going back and connecting to the whole food and trying to not rely so much on the processed food. So I really like the garden kind of farm to table concept. I would really like to see people going more in that direction.
Yeah. Is that something that in your way you can, in micro doses, help people try to shift that way of thinking? A lot of current data is supporting what you're suggesting too. The best diets for you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the number one diet this year because it was trendy, but here are the best diets. And you look at, like, say, the Mediterranean diet and stuff, what you're discussing is exactly that. It's whole foods. It's not processed.
Yeah, if I had to pick a diet, even though I don't like that word, it would be trying to get people more to the Mediterranean type concept.
Yeah.
Just because you have the high volume of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, the omega-3s and your salmon and your walnuts and your nuts and things that really provide a lot of anti-inflammatory type of components in that diet to help keep things calm in your body so your body can manage maybe some of the not so healthy things that you're eating a little bit more easily. So if I had to pick up people to try to like go out and look for information on, it would be more the Mediterranean diet. In the Midwest, that's kind of a hard diet to adjust to because we're kind of meat, potato, vegetables. We're not used to the salmon, one, because it's not so readily available to us. We haven't had as much exposure to that type of stuff. But there are ways to make a Midwest Mediterranean diet, if you will. There's actually a cookbook out there, and I can't remember the author's name, but if you search Midwest Mediterranean diet, there's a cookbook out there that helps you learn how to incorporate some of those Mediterranean type dietary components into our way of eating here in the Midwest, right? So it could be just like maybe switching from vegetable oil to olive oil. Maybe you try to have some type of fish maybe once or twice a week. Yeah. Cutting back on your red meat intake so you don't having such large volumes of it every day. Maybe incorporating more salads into your daily routine. I mean, there's ways to do it without shocking your world.
We are ditching that 4-letter word, not saying the D word anymore.
Yeah, right.
The more in tune we are with our bodies too, and we really are fueling it the best way we possibly can with more like that whole foods, and your body will find where it's supposed to be.
Just naturally kind of falls into that plateau, if you will. Some of my patients, when I say, just try to get your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day, and they're like, who does that? And I'm like, well, if you really think about serving sizes and how you probably are doing better than what you think you are, because a half a cup of cooked vegetables or a cup of raw fruit or vegetables is 1 serving, and you may have 2 servings on your plate at supper time and not even realize it because you may have a side salad and then broccoli or something on your plate as well. So it's not as hard. It doesn't have to need as much attention or energy as we make it out to be. But change, sometimes it's hard.
It is.
And it's a process that you have to go through.
You've given such really great insight today. My approach today is going to be looking for a goal list that has multiple rungs on the ladder and not just like 4 of them. Yeah. I appreciate your time so much, Amy. You have been enlightening. Is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we wrap up?
Yes. One word that a nurse that I worked with shared with me that has stuck with me forever is the word savor.
Savor.
You need to savor it. You can use that in many aspects of your life.
You really can.
Especially with food. Don't inhale it, but savor it.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do today. And I hope other people do too. Savor. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You were great. Lessons for today. Stop saying diet. Just taking it out of my vernacular entirely. My plan needs a plan, and my goals need goals. And it's okay to have many of those little goals, like the rungs on a ladder to get you to your big picture goal. Oh, and probably my favorite, savor. Let that lead you today. Let your ears lead you back to the Dare to Ask podcast. Every Tuesday, we drop a new episode. And coming up, we still have lactation services to talk about, sleep medicine. We get into dermatology. There's a lot coming up on the Dare to Ask podcast.
The information contained in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for personalized professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. The information is general in nature. If you have questions or concerns, please contact your provider.